Hello. I thought I would come on here and talk about the spirit of Moloch. I don't know if that's his pronunciation. I've only read the name. But this is the child sacrifice, the god in Leviticus and in parts of the Bible. The Canaanites worshipped them, and then later Moloch was appropriated by the Greeks and Romans, I believe, to be Kronos. If we know Kronos, we might know more of him. He was the Titan, that was Zeus's father. He got a prophecy that his children would be the death of him, so he ate his children. And then I am pretty sure the mother of Zeus fed him a rock, and that is what caused him to throw up his children. And so we hear the stories of Kronos, but we don't actually learn a whole lot about what the reality of these gods meant when they were being worshipped. These gods were being worshipped. Moloch was being worshipped. Kronos was being worshipped, and how they were being worshipped was through child sacrifice. Okay, it's really interesting. Moloch, he was depicted with the head of a bull, and of course with the Epstein files and things like this, Moloch has become more ingrained into the collective consciousness, which I believe is part of the awakening that is happening. I think the universe sends us symbols and is trying to get our attention, so that we can see things as they are. And so Moloch being the bull, I have been pondering this because I've always had a deep affinity for the bull. I'm a Taurus. Maybe that's why. I grew up on a farm, so I was always taught to view bulls in like a very, not like sexual towards human ways, but look at them for their reproductive properties. What bull is actually the most attractive bull to be bred? So you do kind of judge them based on their attractiveness. And humans have been doing this forever. Humans have always been connected to bulls in a very sexual way. If you look back on old cultures, the bull was this sacred, masculine energy. It was a sign of fertility. This was a way of seeing the bull, which I agree. I think the bull is the ultimate power form. It's got these big horns and this muscular body, power. He's powerful. He's sexual. He breeds and he can't control. It's just, and he flourishes. This is this deeply sexual, masculine, creative force. And I do think it's interesting that the power that we used to revere is now completely gone, to where we do not see bulls as anything other than that which can be consumed or exploited. Yeah, that's a good word. Exploited for his labor. So it's interesting because this animal of great power is also an enslaved being that has no power actually of its own. Everything it does has been laid out before him by someone else. We have bred the bull to become the perfect powerless slave. It's really interesting about that. So I was really contemplating this. The bull, Moloch, why is the bull so antithetical to this notion of like a higher power or a god? If you think about it, the bull keeps showing up in these like demonic evil forces. And for example, Moses going up the mountain while he was away, the Israelites or the Jews who were escaped the slavery of Egypt, they melted down all their gold and made a bull. A bull, it appears again. We are attracted to the bull. There's something about the bull that we worship. We can't help ourselves. It's like this pull to the bull, even now. But what about the Tao? This is a joke I see everywhere because of Pam Bondi and, them trying to get justice from her. And she keeps saying, look at the Tao, look at Wall Street. What is the symbol of Wall Street? It's the bull. Okay, so we find ourselves, even in the modern practice, being pulled to and drawn to the bull. And I think that energy of Moloch is everywhere. And with the Epstein files and these things, it's like we're starting to see Moloch and the bull everywhere. And what could this possibly mean? What does this mean? Why? And I wonder, why the bull? Why not the lion? If you think about gods of child sacrifice, which is what Moloch was, people would burn children in altars for Moloch and Kronos, and it was a very systematic process of doing so. They had priests, they had drummers and people who flutes and music, so that the people who were observing would never hear the screams of the children. So this was like a very systematic space where there was a priesthood, an altar, it was a ritual, it was civic, religious, all of this stuff. So it's interesting that this is like coming up so much more, and so I want to review this energy and like, why not the lion? Why not the lion? The lion kills the babies. If you think of when a new male lion comes in, everybody fights with the male lion who is the head of the pride. They fight. Because if he dies, the new lion will kill the babies and will breed. And so it's very natural to the lion to kill the children. And so sometimes I wonder, why the bull? Why not the lion? And so I'm going to kind of review some things I've been thinking. I've also been having conversations, I will admit, with AI and other people in my community, just trying to like understand more the lion and the bull paradox and things like that. So something that's come to my attention is the lion is this natural power. Its evil is not necessarily the evil of processes. It's done in a moment of instinct, and it is not like, and so that's the evil of the lion. It's like this instinctual passion. It's like, it's its nature. It's the lion's nature. But what about the bull? The bull is not natural. The bull was domesticated, and it's the domestication of the bull that is its danger. It's the fact that there is a system surrounding the bull, and the bull sacrifices itself for society. It is the energy of God, this all-giving force of God, because that is the cow. They say God came to earth in the form of the cow to feed us. If we think that God is in everything and is the creator of all things, there's this wildness to the generosity of God, to the gifts that we have in this lifetime. But when we dominate that power for our own use, and we domesticate it, we civilize it, we weaponize its generous like generous nature. And so that's kind of where I'm thinking about that, is like Moloch is the bull, because the bull represents a domesticated process in which there is like the bureaucratic nature of the system. Moloch is not this single passionate act of violence like a lion's kill. Moloch is about the impersonal, industrialized process of sacrifice that has become the bull. Okay, so if we think about those who would sacrifice children to Moloch, they were not just doing a one-off thing. It was a process. There was a priesthood, there was an altar, there was a process. Okay, so Moloch, the core myth is the sacrifice of children, which, if you think about this is a very potent symbol. It is the ultimate act of consuming the future for feeding the present. We see that a lot. It's a system that demands that you give up what is most precious and innocent and full of potential to sustain itself. Okay, so I think Moloch has been coming into resonance today, because he's not just a statue. Moloch is a system that demands sacrifice for its own self-perpetuation. Okay, I'm not going to be a capitalist hater here, but like the system of capitalism, the system of Wall Street, that's what is happening. The Wall Street, the bull, it demands the sacrifice of the environment, okay, of the future, for the sake of the abstract infinite growth of the machine. And it's everything. It's every time that you sacrifice anything that is a part of you, that innocence of you. Even when it comes to porn, sacrificing your ability to love, to be loved, to have this deep, intimate connection for dopamine, for the now. Okay? The lion is scary. It is something outside of us. It is an enemy that the courage of us facing the lion is that we see it coming and we can fight back. Okay? But the lion didn't become Moloch, the bull did, because the bull's evil is insidious. Okay? This creature walks willingly to its own end, believing it's following a path laid out for it. Okay, but the bull doesn't understand that every step of its life is engineered by a system to lead it to the altar, to lead it to its sacrifice and its eventual consumption by the system. Okay? The lion we can rebel against. It is outside of us. But Moloch, the bull, is the cage that we're born into. Okay? You can't fight Moloch with a gun. You can't shoot Moloch. Okay? The only way you can fight Moloch is to refuse to sacrifice that which is innocent. Refuse to get on the altar. Okay? A man chooses, a slave obeys. You fight him by choosing to be a man and not a slave to the process. Okay? And there's so much more I'd want to say on this, especially about masculinity in the bull. And, the ways that I think that the modern man has so much I think the system is trying to domesticate and sacrifice our modern men first. And yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the penis. I don't know if I can say that, but the horns, the big horns of the bull is like one of its defining features, and it defines it. It also subjugates it. That's one of the ways you control it. You grab the bull by the horns and you bend it to your will. And I think the system understands these things. If you think the horn being the penis in symbolism, I think there is an attack on masculinity. I think there is they're narrowing down what can be a man, because it's like breeding. You have to breed the wilderness out of the bull. You have to create a submissive creature to a system that is leading it to sacrifice itself. And a lot of the common, and that's Moloch. And if you think about Epstein and all these things, and the sexual crimes and the violence, that is inflicted by the penis, in these demonic type spaces, I think it's like they're trying to twist the modern male, because I think the modern male is good. But how can you create a healthy space, a mental space in a sexualized world where, we're seeing kids the age of 9 killing themselves and seeing porn and becoming addicted, and even kids' YouTube can be really pornographic, and it's not even just porn, it's but I do think this sexual energy is how we are being attacked. There is a spiritual war going on, and Moloch is here and present on planet Earth, and people are worshiping him. People are sacrificing children to him, but not just children. I think we accidentally worship Moloch every time we sacrifice parts of ourselves on the altar of a future. We only live here and now. We only get one life as this body. So we can't betray ourselves. We can't betray ourselves. We can't allow ourselves to become submissive to a system that asks us to sacrifice everything. And that takes some deconstructing. We have to understand what in us is being sacrificed. Everything is being sacrificed right now. We still have time to destroy the altars of Moloch within ourselves, which is really the only way we're going to destroy it from the world, to find the altar within ourselves, to find where Moloch has been whispering to us, and where we have been sacrificing ourselves. So I think that's where I'm going to stop for now. Even though I bring up masculinity, I do think everybody has this this influence of Moloch within us, and we can only become stronger by eliminating it, and to consider our innocence as one of the most important things. That person we probably don't even remember we were, and if you were raised with an iPad in front of your face, you probably never met your own innocence. So that is the karma of our generation, is to find out Who am I? Who is my most innocent self? Who is the me that is forgiven? And forgive me, Father, I know not what I do. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you.